You mentioned some of those things that pissed you off, and we know those things. You were very open about them, you've talked about them. And, to come out and to be able to say, like, hey, this is what happened. These are some of the details of what went down with the body shaming and, the reports that came out about some of the releases being quote unquote lazy and all of that, right? And, people can take that and misconstrue it or take that and sort of manipulate, they make their own truth, their own variation to that when you see certain things come out. And you're like, okay, I know my truth and that's what I'm putting out there. But it can be hard when you got this huge spotlight on yourself, and it can be hard to talk about these things. When you have came out and you talked about this on Twitter, on interviews, do you feel like, how do you feel about putting that stuff out there and letting people know, like, hey, this is what happened?
I feel like, I don't know, that was like a big, I don't know if it was a mental battle in my head, if that's the right terminology, but when I got released, obviously I knew I was going to do interviews and you do think about what you're going to say and stuff like that. But I always knew I never wanted to, and I don't have any reason to burn my bridges with WWE. I'm not going to ever sit here and be on unabashed WWE tirade and all that kind of stuff. But I did know that I also never want to be one of those people who, just because it was my dream and because it was, everything I ever wanted, I'm not just going to come and be fake and be like, everything was perfect and I loved it. And just because, because I want them to call me back, like that's not the case at all. I'm very confident in who I am and what I'm doing right now. So I'm not necessarily waiting for that call. Like I said, if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, that's fine. I'm doing my own thing right now. But I can, like I said, you can sit and wonder and just beat yourself up over whatever. But, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I'm happy where I am right now. So
Here's the thing. I 100% agree with you when it comes to like speaking your truth, because again, just because you're speaking your truth doesn't mean you're necessarily bashing someone or some
exactly.
place.
I always wanted to remain. That was, I guess, what I was trying to get to. I always wanted to remain real in the sense of like, this is my truth, this is my story, this is what I went through. I'm not sitting here bashing WWE. I'm not talking shit about them. I'm not, sitting here blowing up the internet because I'm pissed off. It's just I am a very blunt, real person at the end of the day. And yeah, it was my dream. I did love it. I love my time there. There's so many things I'm grateful for. There were things that pissed me off, so I'm not going to sit here and be quiet and just act like it wasn't, because at the end of the day, I feel like everyone deserves to speak their truth. And that doesn't mean that I'm talking shit on WWE. It was just my truth.
I get you too, because hearing you say like, hey, I went through these things, it makes you wonder like if anybody else has gone through something similar or maybe is going through something similar. Of course, we don't know, but we don't know because we haven't heard very many people come out and say it. And so hearing you say it, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, my thought to that when I heard you talk about the body shaming, I thought, damn, I really hoped that was already put in the past, that I was already back in the day. I personally thought that we had moved forward from that. And when you spoke about this, and I was thinking about how young you were when you were, you're young right now, and you were even younger when you were hearing this stuff. So I just kind of thought, like as a woman, I'm thinking like, oh hell no, like I would be so freaking pissed if this was happening to my sister or someone that I knew. And to hear that happened to you, it is upsetting because no one understands how people criticizing your body can make you feel like shit. It really can. And it's like, yeah, I may not have these certain looks or the certain body parts or whatever, but that's not realistic to everybody. And I think that girls, when you are, watching NXT and you or WWE in general or anything, girls see other girls and are like wondering, hey, when am I going to look like that? Chances are you probably never are, because it may not be what you were meant to do. And so it's just one of those things that I did feel bad and awful reading what you had wrote. And I really hope that that's not happening to other people.
Yeah, obviously, I feel like, that I was very young at that time, and not to say that it didn't happen, on more than one occasion. But I guess my sense in putting that out there wasn't to bash WWE, and maybe it did look like that in a way, because I did tweet out of anger at a point, and I think everyone does at some point, which isn't the best. But I did see that lazy dirt sheet article, and it did piss me off, because I was like, if you only knew. But it's just, I feel like, if anything, I just hope that me saying something I'm sure there are girls that feel that way. Every woman feels that way at some point. I'm sure someone's saying to somebody right now, who knows? But I hope, all my hope is that by seeing that, maybe someone, I don't know, someone higher up or anybody saw it, maybe it was like, hey, that's kind of fucked up. Like maybe we should like not speak on women's bodies, or like, I just hope that whatever, who knows, maybe it didn't, maybe it just pissed somebody off. I have no idea. But my hope is just somebody saw that and was put something in someone's head to be like, hey, maybe we should like not talk about women's bodies like this. And then maybe I hope someone, maybe another female wrestler saw that and they feel like they can speak up, or stick up for themselves, because I feel like you should always be able to do that, especially as a woman. I don't think you should ever have to sit down and be quiet and keep your mouth shut out of fear of losing your dream job or something like that, because I feel like my morals come before anything else. So I will always stand up for myself and what I believe in and what I feel is right, rather than just sitting down and be quiet. And maybe that's my downfall. I don't know, but that's just how I am. And I hope by that somebody either realized how they should be speaking to women anywhere, not even just WWE, anywhere. Or I hope that someone, who maybe felt that they're getting spoken to a way that they feel that they shouldn't, that it is okay to speak up and you should.